Yo, what's up, guys? This is a new episode of Doppio Dope. I am joined to my right by host, social media master,
not master,
podcaster, all that good stuff. Clement Bryant, what's up?
Good. Waking up. I feel like I'm coming back to life a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm doing good. Just trying to realign myself and my priorities right now. It's been a busy couple months. Work has been crazy. But no, how are you doing?
Doing good. Working hard. Trying to drop more stuff. Drop heat every day, and
trying to spit the hot fire.
Yeah, and trying to cover stuff like LA Comic-Con and a whole bunch of other things. But speaking of LA Comic-Con and comic book properties.
You want to get into the Scorsese news?
There's a couple people that don't like them.
All right, so for context, Martin Scorsese, in the lead up to Joker and Irishman, he said that he doesn't consider MCU movies as cinema.
Yeah.
And recently, as far as this weekend concerned, as far as the weekend of...
He doubled down on them.
He doubled down on it.
Yeah.
And then Francis Ford Coppola came in on the back on it and doubled down, helped him double down.
He was like, they're despicable.
So
not only is it like not cinema, but it's also despicable.
So here's my thing. I can, as someone who is a film fan, and I've watched Scorsese, Taxi Driver is one of my favorite movies, Apocalypse Now, Godfather are some of my favorite movies. All due respect, if I were those guys who were making movies back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, in that heyday of old school, character-driven, plot-driven cinema, I could see a world where they would think that, but I don't agree with that.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Movies, whether they are about dramas, science fiction, comedies, they are cinema. It's just a different version of cinema. And I think what gets them the most is that it's this pre-standardized template or something that is a franchise, where it's like loading so much that it's taking all the box office. That's all what.
I also think they kind of hate because they ain't getting that money. They ain't getting their money like that.
It could be. I
think there's a little hateration in there too.
It could be the money, but I think when you have movies like Apocalypse Now and The Godfather, Taxi Driver, just the three best ones that I know off the top of my head that I've watched from those cats.
Yeah.
And you have someone like who's on Shutter Island and Departed. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's all about money. I think it's all about them. I think that's a little part of it, but I also think it's they want to preserve what cinema is.
Yeah, but you don't get to decide. Once you start doing that, you become a gatekeeper.
Right,
and
that's one of the things that people
some of that old crotchetiness of like gatekeeperiness is coming in. I'm like, what you do isn't only cinema. It's kind of like that Oscar crowd where unless it's a biopic or it's about World War II or it's trying to make you cry, then it's not a movie.
Or if it's not, or if it doesn't. I think the thing is when we talk about the Oscars and the Academy, they have this pre-standardized notion of what cinema is, what movies are, and that's why we see movies like Black Panther. It's a surprise when they win awards, even if they're what we call in the industry below the line, meaning on the technical stuff, above the line, meaning all of the acting nominations. So it's a thing where, and I honestly confess it because I am an old school film fan, but at the same time, I love Marvel movies. I love science fiction.
Like I can enjoy both.
I can enjoy both, and just because you have one way to what you prefer does not mean that you can't prefer something else. For me, I hate horror. I hate horror movies. I can't do it. Not because I disrespect the medium. It's because I have an overactive imagination. I know that the stuff in the horror movie is fake. Yeah.
But you'll take it.
But I take it and be like, I spin it off. So like, I can't really deal with horror. From an emotional and from a mental standpoint. But that said, one of my favorite movies is Cabin in the Woods.
and that's if you're like an old school horror fan, that's like a send up to all of those tropes.
Exactly.
And it's fun.
Exactly. It's like dark comedy, but it's still horror.
Yeah.
So I think what needs to happen is, I wonder if Scorsese or Coppola has seen a Marvel movie from start to finish.
Well, even if they haven't, I'm tired of this notion that just because it's big budget means it's bad, or just because it's low budget means it's good.
Right.
Because I don't think that a lot of film aficionados, I don't think they take into consideration the difficulty in pulling off pyrotechnics.
That's
the difficulty in pulling off car chases, the difficulty in fight choreography, the difficulty in living up to expectations,
right,
and hype. Because The Irishman, let's be honest, there ain't no hype around The Irishman. You're just like, oh, word, Scorsese's making a movie? Cool.
There's hype, but it's
not Star Wars.
It's not like
it's not Star Wars. It's not Avengers. It's not the same. If Quentin Tarantino makes a movie, they're like, oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino, but there's no hype. There's no like, this is Star Trek. Your name is on the line. Don't blow it. It's not that type of hype. And I don't think for someone who's never had to live to that type of hype, you've already, because there's a difference as an artist. There's a difference between creating your own thing and doing whatever you want, and then fitting into someone's style guide and still succeeding. And if you can't fit inside someone's style guide and still succeed, in my perception, you haven't fully mastered your craft. You've been able to make all the movies you wanted to make. Wow, great. Can you go in someone's sandbox and still be creative in there and still be successful? Because we've seen directors like James Gunn that have done both. They've made their own movies, and they've gone inside of MCU and made movies. Right. Francis Ford Coppola has been able to do kind of whatever he wanted. And Scorsese's been able to do whatever he wanted. Can you take Superman? Can you take Wonder Woman? Can you take Green Lantern? Can you take Wolverine? Can you take any of these characters and have someone say, okay, well, these are your boundaries, still make it hot? And still deal with all of this pressure, all these fight scenes, pyrotechnics, CGI, all this stuff, and still make it hot. Or you someone where, let's sit two people in a room, let them talk for 2 hours, let it be long and slow, and then, it's a great movie.
Well, here's the thing. With The Irishman, it's an interesting POV that you bring up about hype or challenges, because The Irishman has, as far as we know, has I think the earliest mention of it was early 2016, early 2017. Yeah. So, and what they're doing in that movie is they're de-aging De Niro and Pacino. So they're de-aging them, and the budget of that movie has ballooned. So you're dealing with Scorsese and old school tactics that he's used to with the new school stream, and also dating their releases. So I think it's going to be a very interesting experiment to see what happens when you take Scorsese and put him with the new school Netflix streaming model, because that's going to be a thing. So that's a different kind of hype pressure to realize that. That said, on the whole thing of auteurs coming into some of the sandbox, you take someone like a Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi, before Thor Ragnarok, no one was checking for him. We knew at all. We knew what we do in the shadows. You knew him and we knew him from.
He had a couple of
people. He was
small,
underground. He was an underground. He was an underground person. And I think he did some flight. I don't know. He did work on Flight of the Conchords. I can't remember. But after Thor Ragnarok, people were like, "I want more Taika." Now, Taika is an auteur. We look at Thor Ragnarok. We look at, even he's coming back. Even so much so, he was doing. What was it? He was doing the anime at Warner Brothers. He was doing what was it? I was guessing right now. Akira. He was doing Akira, and he dropped Akira to go back to California. And now he's doing Jojo Rabbit. He's doing all. I
think he has a couple of episodes in Mandalorian coming up.
Yeah, he directed an episode of Mandalorian. So I think what the industry is right now, that there's all of this commotion, all of this, we're not sure what's going to happen, because we're in the middle of this seismic shift in streaming.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen with theaters. We don't know what's going to happen with primetime television. We don't know what so the industries to check out like that. There are still people going through this whole conception of art. So like, I feel like it's unfair for Scorsese and Coppola to say that they're not cinema because it's just another form of cinema. Yeah. And honestly, the movies make the cinema more accessible to people who really could care less about the art form or the movie.
Yeah, because you know, remember, art should also make you feel something.
Right.
Not you, the person that made it, but this person that's watching it. Because a lot of times when it comes to the gatekeepers, they just want to say, I made this. Look at what I made. This beautiful. And it's like, yo, I don't care what it was shot in. I don't care what it was shot in. I don't care what lighting it was.
Right.
I didn't like it.
Most people, and that's the difference.
People have to remember, there's a value to replay value.
That's important.
How many times can I watch? I don't know. Pick most of the the Oscar winners. How many times can you watch that? But I can watch Trading Places tons of times.
Yeah.
I can watch Coming to America. I can watch Bad Boys. I can watch Avengers over and over. How many times can I watch The Piano? Is it a cool movie? Wow. But can I watch it over and over?
And that's a good point. I think.
How many times can you watch something like Friday the 13th or something like? You're like, oh, this is fun. You can get out with your friends. Nobody's getting together with their friends to have a watch party for any number of these. It's a biopic. Like the Green Book.
I think there are movies like that. Like you take a movie like Ray.
That's what you're talking about. One out of how many?
Like there are movies like that. But then the thing is, say something. If you're coming from the context of Marvel movies don't make me feel something, that is a fallacy.
Yeah,
because you cannot tell me that the third act of Endgame, when you start to see spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, when you start to see
on home video now.
Still, when you start to see the circles and you start to see the tears in Cap's eyes, as everyone's coming back through the portals, and you hear the music and you see this ultimate setup. You cannot tell me if you watch even 2 or 3 Marvel movies that you're not going to react this reaction of, oh my god, it's the whole MCU on screen, and you want to cry because literally a year ago, your favorite heroes were dusted.
Also, you're thinking a moment before that, you're thinking, yo, what are they going to do?
Right.
Because it's just him. He stood up, and everybody on Thanos' side is coming up. And he stood up like, look, if it's got to be that, it's what's got to be.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, when we talk about the old school heroes of the 70s, you're talking about, Michael Corleone. You're talking about, Travis Bickles. You're talking about, cats like, all these old school writers. Those were those era heroes.
Yes.
Now, Travis Bickles. Okay. But those were the cinematic heroes. Now we have different cinematic heroes.
Yeah, but also imagine trying to, and this is for Francis or any of these guys that think they're like, oh, I'm filming nothing else, anything that's big budget. I want you to take 23 movies over 10 years, make them make sense. Oh, and call back to a movie from like 10 years ago.
Right.
And be like, oh snap, what? So do that. And make them make even the worst Marvel movie is still worth sitting through. None of them are trash.
No.
So, and even being able to have a movie where it's like, oh snap, it didn't work like that. Let's course correct real quick in the next joint. Man, nobody. You have to give props to being able to do that.
When we're talking also like old school 60s, 70s movies, you take a movie like Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier's blueprint is based off of 3 Days Ago. Right? Like the whole political thriller aspect, the paranoia of it all, even the action scenes, the way they're in the hand-in-hand combat between that scene between Cap and Winter Soldier in the street. Winter Soldier was the movie that changed the game for the MCU.
Yeah, because the MCU was already cool and kind of it was moving at a steady pace. Yeah. But Winter Soldier was like, whoa, whoa.
It was like I even remember
the car chase with Nick Fury, the rooftops. There was so much that you're like, wow.
Yeah, and you're looking at it. Like I remember that scene where you hear, where you hear the music. I think it's kind of Henry Jackman's score, and you start to see the helicarriers in the sky blow up, and you start to see Cap drop into the water, and you're just like, whoa. And at the end of it, you're talking about just calling back the Trouble Man soundtrack at the end, where he's wearing this like these are the things that we gotta consider when we're talking about. Yeah, okay, I get it from a theatrical standpoint, from a film standpoint. I get it. I understand what you're doing. But
I don't. It's two different things.
It's two different things.
Like you have chocolate and vanilla. It's still ice cream.
Right.
No one's sitting around like that's not ice cream.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's weird. It's weird to kind of consider
around
that
like,
it's not cinema.
That mint chocolate chip. That's just not ice cream. Nobody's sitting around doing that. But when it comes to movies, it's like you getting your feelings. It's like, dude, just make your movie and be out. Nobody asked you.
But here's the thing.
I think somebody did ask him, but still.
Right. And it's like we talk about it, but it's like I think the right way to go around it is the way that James Gunn is going about it.
Yeah.
And James Gunn is basically saying like it hurts me that my cinematic heroes don't view my work as cinema. But at the same time, if they do not like that, that's okay.
Yeah, like,
and I think that's what it is. And I think that's what it is. It's like when we talk about their version of cinema is the old school character-driven flicks that make you really consider to think. But, and I asked that question earlier about have they watched the MCU movie all the way through? Yeah. Because if they would have seen a movie like Winter Soldier, and like Winter Soldier is one of those movies that I think like when you talk about Winter Soldier, the first Iron Man, Guardians,
Civil War,
or you talking about like Endgame, and it's like these movies. Yes, they're franchises. Yes, they're CGI spectacles. Yes, they are action oriented. But there's an emotional through line and a really heavy core of emotion at the center of it that makes you consider, wow, 10 years of storytelling connected through 23 movies. Through multiple studios,
and they all make sense.
And they all work in conjunction with each other, but yet all of them might have the same tone, or they might have their own different tone. Winter Soldier is a completely different tone, and it still fits. And
that's not easy to do. Even when you have people online that are like, oh well, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark and whatchamacallit are just all the same character, dude from Guardians, and so they get together, and you're like, oh. They are the same guy, but at different points in his life.
That is true.
Whatchamacallit is, you got Star-Lord, and he's like in his 20s.
Yeah.
You got Iron Man, and Iron Man is like in his 40s. Doctor Strange is like in his 60s. They're all sort of the same guy, but they have a different maturity level.
60s, but
they have a different maturity, the wisdom level.
Yeah.
Like, Doctor Strange is much more wise than Tony Stark. I got love for Tony, but he also has time stuff.
Right.
It's kind of.
And I think
but you see him and you're like, oh, you're sort of the same guy, but you're at different levels of maturity.
They're different voices, but also I think when you're talking about Star-Lord versus Doctor Strange versus Iron Man, I think Doctor Strange has more poise than the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's like he has more poise and more of like. At least kind of where I do it is it's not listening, it's more of poise and decorum, whereas Tony's more of a straight shooter, and then
definitely
Star-Lord's kind of all over the place.
Good point.
He has the emotional maturity of an adult, but all of his references and everything that he knows are from when he was a kid. So it's like you have this sort of weird man-child where Stark is this guy that's like very intelligent, very smart, whereas Doctor Strange is very well spoken. He's more rigid.
Yeah.
So there's things, but I'm like,
and then for them to be able to write those characters in that way to say, okay, you've been saying he's the same guy. Now watch them all together.
Right.
And then you're like, oh wow.
Yeah.
You guys did. And my thing is, you guys aren't doing it, and to try to dog someone on things you aren't doing, you haven't been under the pressure or under the weight of an Avengers, of a Star Wars, of a Star Trek, of any of that stuff. You haven't coordinated.
You can't even compare what the film industry was in the 70s.
Yeah, you can't. It's not the same.
To now.
Because blockbusters didn't even really start until the 80s.
Right. Because I think the first blockbuster, or first trilogy, there were
what was considered the first blockbuster is like Jaws, maybe.
Jaws, but like, you could consider like, Jaws was that movie that changed how movies
it's like, whoa, look at how much money this is making more than just money. This is making money.
It was one of the movies, so you can't compare it. But I think it's evolved. I'm not sure if it's for the best, for the better, or for the worse. But it's evolved to a point where it's more accessible.
Yeah, and it should be.
And that's what we're talking about. Streaming. We talk about all these streaming shows, all these networks, prime time, film, gaming. How is it accessible to the audience, and how do they relate to it, and how much are they being marketed, and how are they being marketed?
Yeah,
it's like there's too many variables now, because back then it was just make the movie, put the movie out.
Yeah.
But
now there's a whole thing.
There's everything.
You know, you got the toys, you got the game, you got the commercials,
right.
You got the teaser for the teaser for the teaser. Like Bloodshot, Sony. I really like the Valiant comic book universe. Please, just if you're gonna screw it up, don't put Shadow Man in there. I'd rather not see him at all. Then y'all got Bloodshot coming. Just please don't screw it up. But they dropped the teaser for the trailer that's coming out tomorrow. I'm like, just please let it be good. You got Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, he knows what he's doing. So just don't let it suck.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think on the topic of the MCU, we should just announce the news and think about what your thoughts are. Because it's been a while since the news dropped, but Spider-Man being back in the MCU now.
Yeah.
Our last chat, we talked about him.
Since our last talk.
So now, the fact of the matter is, he's back. He's got one movie left, one solo movie, and he's in another Marvel movie. There is the rumor of him appearing in Sony's Marvel movies, and Disney got a 25% cut. So, what are your thoughts about, one, him being back, two, the fact that Tom Holland played a part in the negotiations to bring Spider-Man back, and then what do you think about where the character is going to go, where you think he might go?
All right, one, I'm glad he's back. Sony had no other choice because Sony knew, like, dude, either you can have 100% of nothing, or you can have 70% or whatever of $1 billion. Like, dude, I don't even understand, why is this a question?
Right.
Stop trying to play hardball. You ain't got no other franchises unless this new Ghostbusters pops. We're hoping it does. I'm a Ghostbusters fan, so I hope that it.
There's also Charlie's Angels.
Because Men in Black didn't really. Charlie's Angels trailer, I'm not mad at it. I think we can have a lot of fun. Please don't be whack, because I did like the trailer. Okay. So that's all you got. Yeah. You blew Men in Black this year. Nobody cared about it. And you took the same people. This is how you know the difference between film and this. You want to say it's not film? Well, Taika Waititi had these two actors. Everybody loved it. Someone else had these two actors. Nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody cared. And I was like, yeah, they did come out. Because I saw the stuff for the digital. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it came out. It's like.
So Sony had no choice.
Yeah.
They had to.
Disney had no choice.
Disney, they're like, yo, we built 20. All right, we have 23 movies. 22 of them don't have, like, or sorry, 21 of them don't have. We'll be okay. We just got X-Men back. They don't need Spider-Man. Right. Sony needs Spider-Man.
Right.
Disney don't. Right. Marvel don't. Marvel has proven all the way. How many movies was it before they got Spider-man? Come on, man. They don't.
It was like
need.
90. Was
it's
it like
nice to have.
It was like 16 or 17 movies when they got it.
Thank you. So it's nice to have. It's a nice little cherry on top.
Right.
But it is in no way the foundation of their MCU. And Sony, they did right. Tom Holland, I'm actually glad he got in there and was like, look,
it's like,
y'all gonna mess me up. Don't mess me up.
And honestly, I have one thing to say. The fact that he played a part in studio negotiations at all,
that shows that he's got more power than we thought he had.
I hope that doesn't go to his head.
Okay.
Because now when you start to see, and this is what I was getting at when Disney had no choices. Bob Iger himself said when they went to D23 and they bought Pratt and Holland on stage from Onward.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Yo, they are upset. They were really upset. Fans were upset because this news dropped.
Because the news dropped it dropped like 3-4 days ahead. Or something?
It was like 3 to a couple of days before D23 happened.
Yeah.
So it was still fresh. So that was the big precursor, and then Tom Holland getting me like, "Hey, I would really like to stay in the universe if possible." Blah blah blah. Himself called Iger to figure out how to get him back. So I hope that Tom Holland doesn't. That kind of power, the fact that he played a part in his franchise continuing, doesn't go to his head because we know how actors can be in this stuff.
True,
but
he hopefully he doesn't come off like that guy, but that can always change.
It can always change.
Yeah.
So
the 2 movies left though, I'm like, y'all know it's gonna have to be more than 2 movies. Like what? I mean, you can end his story essentially now if you wanted. They could, but why?
After Far From Home, after Far From Home was the wrong place to end it.
Yeah, like because you can essentially just have your other movies be like, dude went underground, and just leave it at that.
Right.
But with these 2 movies, this gives them some time to actually flesh out something. He can go off, do a mission or whatever, and he goes off to the Spider-Verse, and that's Sony stuff, and we never see him again.
Right.
Or we see him 5 years from now when a new deal gets struck or something like that. But that, I'm glad it's happening. I don't see why this just can't work in general. Like, just let the dollar circulate.
Well, because here's the thing. Studios do not like to play well with each other.
Yeah, I know.
There's politics, and all it comes back to is money.
Yeah.
But also, do they like working with them? Because I know of things behind the scenes that
they don't seem to be too happy with each other.
It's also in the way that they market. Sony has a different way of marketing their movies than Sony does. And I think that's one of the big sticking points, at least from my eyes.
Sony's marketing always be straight trash, man.
Well, it's also like, and I face the challenge as a marketer. It's hard to think innovatively about what haven't people seen before, and what can you do to make a name for yourself. It's very hard because you're dealing with gaming, you're dealing with streaming, you're dealing with other films in the marketplace. And then you're also fighting for the attention of that person when tickets are $14, $13 to $20, and we're not even talking about IMAX.
Digital, $15, $20.
It's
like AMC Prime is like what, like $22?
Right.
Or
so it's like you're fighting for the money. So when you're talking about marketing tactics and what a marketing campaign is going to be, and how long your marketing campaign is going to be, and what you're doing in that campaign to get your consumer interested in your film or in your storyline, it's a lot. It's hard.
Good point.
It's very, very hard. So I think from there is 2 very different ways that they go about marketing.
Yeah, they ain't feeling each other like
does it. But also the way that Sony does it isn't horrible, but there is a need for Sony to figure out not so much what the marketing is, but what is their franchise strategy.
Yeah,
that's the question, because like you're saying, Bloodshot, they clearly know what actors are popular, but what franchises are they going to do? And that's where it's like that movie Passengers, I really thought was going to be something, but
good point.
It wasn't. But so I think Sony has a little work in like trying to figure out what their franchise strategy is. Because if they're hoping that Bloodshot is going to be a franchise, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, because they want the Valiant universe to be, because the reason they got that is because they knew they didn't. You can only do so much with Spider-Man because you don't want to. Like I said, I was Spider-Man'd out.
Right.
Homecoming just happened to be good.
Right.
But I was Spider-Man out, just like I'm Batman out.
But
I'm
here's
like,
the thing.
dude, y'all, like, come on.
Everyone was Spider-Man
So they
out.
need another franchise to kind of like.
Yeah.
So it's not always Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man movie. Like they gotta make something else.
Right.
And Valiant Universe has tons of dope characters and stories, but they don't have a Feige. They don't really have a Feige over Valiant right now.
Right. I mean, and DC's getting there. They have this dude named Walter Hamada who is like leading it internally and like shooting all the movies. So far, Hamada, he's doing well.
Yeah, but he's also new. He's only over.
He's over DC.
But he came in over Shazam. Was that his first movie? He was.
I think.
Well, no, because that was already in production.
I think it was Aquaman.
Oh, okay.
Aquaman was the first one that he kind of
was fully over.
That was fully over. So, you know, he's doing it, but like you need someone who is like who understands your properties, understands consumer taste, and what the marketplace is going down right now. And that's a hard person to kind of get. They just made Feige. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah.
Chief creative officer.
Yeah, he's like the top of all Marvel stuff now. Like the movies, the home stuff, and the TV stuff.
He has part of it, and Ike still has like publishing. Ike Perlmutter still controls part of it, but we'll see. But like, so
get him out of here.
And I'm worried because
even though Ike did give us the hottest season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., season 4, Ghost Rider and the LMDs.
Yeah,
but that's still.
Oh, and they canceled Ghost Rider too, and also. That was the precursor to the Feige thing happening.
Oh.
At least from what
That's probably what made it happen. Because it was probably like, look, we tired of you. Because Ghost Rider would have been hot.
Dude.
I heard you took the hottest character from all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Bruh, I heard some things about Ghost Rider that was going to flip you crazy. And not through my job, the people just talking and just like me being in conversations on text threads and stuff, I was like, whoa. So I can't say what it was, but there was gonna be a moment that would have been like hot fire. Someone texted me and I was like, are you serious? Man. And I was like, wow. But I don't know I don't know, and I think that whole thing of Ghost Rider series being canceled was that precursor to Feige being in, because now who didn't they mention in those press releases?
All right, so we talked about Feige. We didn't hear anything about Ike at all.
You heard about Ike.
Well, I mean, he wasn't.
he was part of it, but
yeah, he wasn't.
You didn't hear about Loeb.
Oh, you're right.
And then before the Ghost Rider thing happened, there was an article in Variety, a guy named Joe Otterston. What do we need Marvel TV around for right now? Because this was after D23, after all the announcements of Disney Plus. They have the Ms. Marvel show, the She-Hulk show, Moon Knight.
Well, I mean, that's still
Falcon.
TV.
It's still TV, but like we're talking about Marvel TV versus Marvel Studios.
Oh, meaning why not just make it all the same thing?
Right. So you have that article come out.
Well, yeah, because we've been saying they should combine it all the time.
Right. So you have the article come out, then you have Ghost Rider, and then Feige's movie. Those things were all tied to each other.
Wow.
They were all tied. I'm not saying this as from I know. And like, I'm like,
but if you follow those,
but if you follow those closely, you read between the lines, those things were all connected.
Yeah.
Like, so like the fact that with Feige, I was like, wait, what? And the fact that Feige is producing a Star Wars movie now.
Yeah.
Like, they like, yes, Disney's trying to, they're trying to keep Feige in the hole because they know he is the moneymaker right now.
Yeah. Well, Feige, like you said, Feige knows how to make movies, but he also knows what excites people.
Right.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if we put this in? Kevin Feige's able to do that stuff.
Right.
And when they called him for Star Wars, I was like, shoot, why not? I was like, because, you know, I'm just saying, I know. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Filoni should have been in charge from the get-go. Filoni should have been in charge from the get-go.
But here's the thing.
But
Filoni,
I don't know if Kathleen Kennedy and Filoni get along as well as we think they do.
I wouldn't think so because
if I was Kathleen Kennedy, I'd be like, yo, I mean, I know the business stuff. I'm doing the business stuff. Dude, you're the Star Wars man. You created one of what I consider the best Jedi that's ever lived, Ahsoka. So I'm like, dude, look, let me get this business down. I'll make sure the numbers is cool, budgets, all that. You take care of the story.
But
if I bet money, if Filoni was in charge ever since the beginning of Force Awakens, people would be a lot more excited.
Here's the thing, though. Filoni, I love Filoni. He's one of my favorite storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
Before Mandalorian, he didn't have live action experience.
So, it's
LeSean
Thomas says it's the best. Animation is a medium, not a genre.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, just because it's animated, it's still a story. It's still a story. It's still, it's still a, it's a story, it's a script, it's still the same thing.
But there's differences though. Because when you're talking about a set,
when you're talking about special effects budgets and stuff,
like all of that, there's different. And I'm not saying that I think example that you could say is like someone like Brad Bird. Brad Bird did, Iron Giant, Incredibles, and then he made Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Yeah. And that was hot. For the time, that was hot.
Ghost Protocol is still hot.
Still hot.
Like, I could go home and watch that now.
I'm not saying that you can't make the switch, but I think one of the things why they didn't put him in it was that
they were scared that he couldn't handle it.
And now that they have the switch after Solo, Mandalorian came in. Now he's doing shit on Mandalorian. And now Mandalorian, I think Mandalorian's going to be the testing tale of what happens.
If the trailer is any indication, and I've heard, and I mean, I guess we can go on and get on Mandalorian now. There was a screening last night. I can't remember where, but Disney, you ain't holla at me. I'm saying you ain't holla at me.
I mean, you gotta holla at me for a job, but like.
Well, I mean,
it's like
holla at him, then holla at me. Holla. But I heard that the movie is good. I mean, the show is good.
Right.
Better than you would think. The trailer, the words were, it's good, better than you think. The trailer doesn't do it any justice. And Disney is spending money on this.
They are.
That's what I've heard. So, but Dave Filoni, like I said, man, it's like, he could have.
He's great.
As a matter of fact, it's not like Feige is, I mean, you can put people in there to help him. But, if Filoni was in charge of this, because I've seen a lot of people that I know are Star Wars people that aren't even tripping on Episode 9. They're like, whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's also because we haven't seen a whole lot from Episode 9.
Yeah.
And then also, you had Last Jedi come out. Last Jedi was very controversial.
Mired in controversy.
I love it. It was mired in controversy. And then you had Solo come out under it.
Yeah.
So that's why Episode 9.
And see, that controversy led into Solo.
And Solo is leading into Episode 9.
Yeah.
So, and also because between that, you had all that controversy, but then you had Colin Trevorrow, and you had Colin put Henry drop in between all of that, and then that switch between Trevorrow and J.J. Abrams go. So, you have this shit.
That book of Henry, boy.
So you have
that book of Henry was like,
and that was the thing.
And then
all the rumors that you hear of Trevorrow being trouble for Kathleen Kennedy internally in Star Wars and Disney Lucasfilm. I can understand why. And then you're talking about, I think they're doing a good job marketing it because it's whole JJ's mystery box thing. But I think that's why it doesn't have the same hype right now.
Oh, okay.
Also, we're talking, it's November 20th. We're talking, comes out what, October
20th.
Yeah, it's October 20th. It comes out in December. We're talking 2.5 months time.
Yeah, so you get about 60 days.
So you have 60 days to really hit it hard. So, and that's a marketing strategy. So I think it remains to be seen, which is why there's not a hype. But
true.
Star Wars is a different thing than Marvel. I think Disney sort of realized that you can't do Star Wars like you did Marvel.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is a different entity in itself, and it doesn't work like a comic book.
And here's the thing, I think you can but I don't think Kathleen is the person. I think Kathleen is dope at business.
Right.
I think she's a dope business person.
Right.
But I don't think she's the one to be hiring and firing directors. I think that should have been Dave's job. I think Dave Filoni, he's an artist, he is a director, he is a producer. So one, he speaks their language, and two, he knows what does and doesn't work for Star Wars.
And that's why Feige works for the MCU, because he knows how to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I think
Kathleen doesn't know how to talk.
And I think it's the same thing with Ike. Before Feige was in charge, was the man, he was working under Ike. So
and Ike is probably like Kathleen,
exactly.
where he's dope business, but you whack on the art side.
Right. So like in Feige, I haven't heard anyone, at least knock on wood, I haven't heard anyone say one bad thing about Feige. Whereas we know what the deal with Ike is.
Yeah.
So and Feige works, he knows business, he knows film, but he also knows how to talk to his stable of directors.
Yep.
And I think Feige was one of the big parts why James Gunn came back. So we're talking about things, but I'm not saying you can't be a good business person, but you can't also talk the language of an artist.
Yeah.
As someone who does do both.
Yeah. It's hard to find that mix.
It's hard to find that mix.
And I mean, those people exist, but when you have someone like Kathleen tells the story of George Lucas kind of giving the company to her. I ain't gonna front. If it was me, I would have been like, word, guess who just got a promotion? Dave. This is, here you go.
I love Dave. I think
Dave, get your squad in formation so y'all can do the books, the comics, the movies, all this, and everything can spread out and be amazing.
Dave has the knowledge of all the Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love, like, Dave did Clone Wars. Like, I have huge respect for Dave.
Clone Wars is so hot.
It's so hot, but I just think
they were probably scared about the experience thing.
Mandalorian. They were like, as a business person, I would have thought that. Not that I have any problems with Filoni whatsoever.
Yeah, but you would have been like, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. And it's nothing knocking him as his business or his business as a storyteller or someone who's a director or working with actors, working with talent. It's not that. It's just
it's just that worry, kind of like that.
And there is that worry. And that worry came with Brad Bird.
And Star Wars is a huge property.
Right.
With tons of, and I mean, you see the new Star Wars have done a couple of things for the fandom. It's upset them. It's also exposed a lot of them.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that you thought was cool that you talk Star Wars with, you realize, oh,
you're that kind of person.
You're that kind of person.
Right.
So it's exposed a lot of people, and then it's made the ground shaky for comics and movies and TV, and now they're in the air where they don't know what to do. But if this Mandalorian is hot, like I heard it is, that leads right into the movie, and so people will be like, yo, we excited again, hopefully.
Right, and I think when we see Mandalorian, I think why they're taking this break of episode 9 is to hit Mandalorian, because you don't want too much Star Wars in the marketplace at one time.
Yeah, and you don't want to overshadow Mandalorian.
Right, and that's also going to be the challenge for the MCU when we have these movies and these TV shows come out within months of each other. It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
So, which is why they're hitting.
Yeah, because Disney has so many properties, it's hard to not step on someone else's toes.
Right, and now while you're looking at it, you have Mandalorian's press conference come out this Saturday. Yeah. Then you have the trailer. He's in the middle of it, dropping on Monday. So you're making this Star Wars time for the fall. And it's perfect, so it's timing, so you're not stepping on it. Okay, Mandalorian drops on November 12th, and you have the movie come out this time. It's all about the scheduling of where you're doing your marketing drops, where people are seeing things on the internet, and when also you're seeing how much Star Wars you have in the marketplace right now. When you're talking about marketing strategy, business strategy, it is one of the most crucial things. It's a very crucial thing.
Yeah, because see, I'm one of those people, like, when it's done, put it out.
Right.
But you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Because if you did, like, everything would be out at one time, and then, like, it would be extremely hot.
Right.
And then you had this crazy drop off. Which is why I think they moved the animated series after. It seems like it'll be like after the theatrical run to get. And I'm like, I thought we were gonna get this when it launched.
see, but like I was surprised.
But you need to do that.
I'm surprised they're dropping it in February because honestly, I would have dropped it maybe a month later. I was like, February? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But this shows that they are learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to
because I don't think there's
mistakes,
anything particularly wrong with the Han Solo movie, except that we already had. So there were people still mad. I don't remember when Solo was dropping. There was people still mad about Rose Tico. Like I was like, dude,
still mad. There's still people
Han
mad.
Solo came out in what, May? And I was like, dude, that was like in Christmas, B. Like,
but people were still mad, and it's just like, and I'm not saying they have a right to be mad about that.
Yes,
it's stupid. But I think them plotting out what they're doing with Star Wars shows them that they're learning from successes and failures.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't even call Solo a failure of the highest degree.
No,
I would say okay.
None of these movies are trash. Like people treat them like they're trash. But none of these movies are trash.
Like,
I've seen much worse.
I love Last Jedi because it did something different. Like Luke, people were mad about Luke, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on this because but they were mad about Luke because they weren't. He's not the Luke that I grew up with. He's not going to be the Luke you grew up with because he is an older person who's going through a lot. He almost had to kill his
You're
nephew.
looking at someone who's lost faith.
Right.
And in our eyes, hero Luke would never lose faith. And don't get me wrong, there's a storyline that I think that works with him being, once he shows up ready to go, I think there's a storyline for that too.
Right.
But they decided to go the other route. And I'm actually not mad at that. I'm not mad at him. The only thing I'm mad about is him throwing the lightsaber. I don't think, with so much history tied to that object, but I'm not mad at him losing his faith. I think him losing his faith helps because now this youth is reigniting a flame in him. So I like that. And also the throwing it, I'm like, there's a lot tied to that, but I like that slide.
I was okay because it was like, okay, it was like a good that's what we're doing. But like we're talking about this issue of faith. I actually really relate to that, and I'll tell you why. There's been this year for me it's been up and down. There's been challenges this year, but when we're talking about the concept of lost faith, you look at someone like Luke, who is like he's lost all faith, he doesn't really be a Jedi, he's sad, he's depressed, whatever, and then you get to the end of the movie, and he's literally. You think he's actually there, and you get to the very end,
and then you find out how boss he is.
He's sitting on a rock, and he's actually pushing dirt off his shoulder. Dude, the concept of him getting his faith back, and you're showing that on screen as a storytelling, as like a metaphor for religion and faith, and how much your faith can reignite your passion for your life and for your love for people, and protect your family and protect your friends.
And that's a huge deal.
That is powerful.
And see, everybody learned some hard lessons.
Exactly.
I don't think people wanted our heroes to learn these hard lessons.
But they have to.
I can't think of it. Poe learned, you don't know everything.
That's true.
You don't know everything. And just because you're good doesn't mean you're right. Finn learned everything that glitters ain't gold.
That too.
It was hard lessons for everybody.
Everyone, and that's what that
and
was.
Ray learned, don't meet your heroes because sometimes
they're not going to be the best.
They're not already cracked up to be.
and I think that's why Last Jedi was a necessary step in between Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because
they're going to be so different.
Because they're going to be so different now that you have this middle movie that kind of flips the script on it. Because instead of like, okay, you're just going to keep it same movie, there's no growth in the character.
Yeah.
There's no growth in the storyline, there's no growth in the character, there's nothing new for you to grab onto. So while I understand that he's not your Luke, I don't want to see the same Luke Skywalker that was in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and, episode and, the first Star Wars movie. Like, I don't want that because there's no growth. And as human beings, we have to grow and change.
True.
That's just what it is. So I think when you're talking about growth and change, the issue of what's going to happen with Star Wars and Marvel and Disney as a whole is Disney Plus. Because Disney Plus, I'm sure you saw that long freaking Twitter thread. Did you not see that?
Bruh.
They
just
okay,
give them the money.
Wait. As someone who works in social media, as someone who has done threads and planned out and copywrote and executed,
they killed it.
That was one of the dopest stunts that I've seen.
When was that thread? That thread was what, last Monday or something?
It was like last Monday. It was like last Monday.
Like I need to actually go back and just save that thread, because that thread, they were like, and this, and this, and this.
It was just basically a 5 hour, 6 hour flex on them, just being like,
we got everything.
We got everything. And we are coming. We have the receipts. If you have everything.
If you are a 30 to 40-year-old person, we got your childhood. If you are between 30 and 40, we got your childhood.
I mean,
holla at us.
I think the genius of the thread is everyone responding to something in the thread.
Yeah.
Because I kept on seeing quote tweets from people just being like, "Oh my God, they got gargoyles. What?
Yep.
They have X-Men the animated series.
Yep.
What? Oh, what? They have rescuers.
Chip and Dale.
Like I was like, oh wait, we're gonna have Avatar. We got all this stuff that's happening, and you're sitting here like, and right after the thread ends, it starts trending, and I'm like,
yep. It was boss level.
That was a boss level gotcha marketing stunt where they just did a Twitter that. They didn't have to go on their other profiles. They just did it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like that is a stunt. That is a flex.
And the marketing on that, it cost them next to nothing.
Well, and
it cost them. They had to buy a Fox. But I mean, what I'm saying is the marketing for like trending and all that. It just cost them the time of someone to sit down and prepare the tweets, and a graphic designer to crop the images, someone to prepare the tweets and get there and respond to people and be like,
And the other thing of it from a social standpoint is you can't schedule all that either.
No, there's way too much.
Well, you might be able to, but like,
cause I'm assuming that Disney, if anybody, Disney and Warner Brothers probably have some type of API that's higher than like TweetDeck or whatever, that could. But still,
like you need the thing as someone, I hate scheduling because because
you never know what's going to happen.
Because you don't know what's going to happen from the moment that you click schedule and you're trying to make sure that post comes out. The world could blow up. There could be another shooting.
I used to schedule stuff.
I'm like, nope. Yeah. Nope. One of my things working social is, unless I have to schedule something, and absolutely have to, I don't schedule. Yeah. I post everything live because it's just
because you never know.
Paranoia of that can destroy your brand in a second.
Yeah.
So it's hard. So it's like I think we have more news to talk about, but when you're talking about all these things, which is why you see Warner Brothers, HBO Max,
which I still don't like the name of that.
Studio Ghibli getting all that stuff, and then you have Matrix 4.
Yeah,
bruh.
Matter of fact, let's end on Matrix 4.
Well, we got a couple of things after.
Yeah,
Matrix 4 is going to be hot. Jessica Henwick.
Well, I'm also glad that it's been confirmed that it's a 4.
Right.
So that means that we're not rebooting this.
Nope.
Everything else matters. And I mean, I said that before. I was like, when you look at the Animatrix, this is a world that could essentially be just like Star Wars or Marvel, because you're talking about hundreds of years difference between making of the robots and then the robots, turning on humans and all that. So you got tons of time to deal with if you want. And now that we know it's a 4, it's like, oh, okay.
So
this is an interesting look at, okay, well, everybody didn't ride off into the sunset.
So let's get this straight. The cast. Keanu.
Yep.
Carrie.
Yep.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Which I was like, huh?
What? Yahya Mateen and then Jessica Henwick.
Yep.
Like, bruh, that's the cast.
Yeah.
Like you ever see Carl Weathers in Arrested Development? He's like, oh baby, you have a stew. You got a stew. That's a stew.
Yeah.
That is. I was like, I'm
not mad at that either.
I'm not mad at that casting. So.
Not at all.
Oof. Like.
The movies.
I'm excited.
All they have to do is just kill it, man.
Just kill it.
And I'm excited because this is a world that I think deserves exploration and that could really open up to like tons of different avenues, especially when you look at stuff like the Animatrix, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. There's tons of fight scenes I know are going to be on point.
Everything's going to work.
I want to see them ratchet it up because still to this day, that highway scene is still worth the watch. And I mean, I know people will be like special effects, whatever. It's 20 years old. I don't know. I know it's old. I know it's, the first Matrix was 98.
98, 99.
And then the second one was like
2000,
like 01 or something like
2001 or 2002, and then
so you're looking at something that's approximately like 17 or so years old, but that highway scene is still
highway scene that is excellence. Storyboarding, computer graphics, plot. Like this. So I'm ready to see what they do. I'd love to see them play with time more. Like not only the slowing down of time, but maybe even the speeding up of time. Like, you know, like who knows? There's so many. So yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm super ready. Cowboy Bebop is on hold now.
You heard about that? John Cho got hurt. You know, props to him. Shout out to him. But that shows their commitment to him.
7 to 9 months. Oof.
Because you know Netflix was counting on that, as you know, because Netflix needs some heat now.
I mean, but
even if you're not number one, there's still tons of money to go around.
Netflix is ready. I feel like Netflix is right now is ready with their canons, content. You have Avatar, Last Airbender. You have Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. You have Cowboy Bebop.
We got Cannon Busters now.
Cannon Busters. They got Kichu.
Raising Dion. I haven't reviewed it yet, but we got Raising Dion.
Raising Dion is so fire.
Well,
I'll tell you this. Wait, what? Critics? You talking about critics?
No, I'm talking about me.
What you talking about?
I hate the mom, man. She makes so many dumb decisions. I'll be like, you are messing. You gonna get everybody killed. But the show I enjoyed.
You watched all 9?
Yeah, I watched all 9 episodes. But the mom.
But the plot twist though.
Yeah, the plot twist and the line of the plot twist was nice.
I should have killed you in New Orleans. I was like,
well, because they dropped the Star Wars thing about Luke and Vader, and I was like, okay, and then they drop it again, and I'm like, man, they're referencing Star Wars a lot, and I was like, that's why. I was like,
But even I remember the first episode where he starts skateboarding and they drop the Gangsters of Paradise drop. I was like,
so yeah. Overall, I dig the show. The mom, since I had a single. Well, my mom got married later on, so for the most part, my mom was single until I think she got married at 11 or something like that. So I've known a lot of single black mothers.
Right.
She didn't seem to have I don't know who was writing, but maybe it just seemed like she didn't have the sense of urgency that a black mama that I knew. A black mama in Virginia in the South during the 80s and 90s that I knew would do.
But there's also the superpower aspect.
Yeah.
How would you do? How would for all intents and purposes, I was Dion as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, super sci-fi, wanted to be cool.
Yeah.
Not really understanding things. My parents did a good job of raising me. Yeah. But I was Dion for all intents and purposes. So I would see my mom. I don't know how my mom would deal with superpowers, right? Because it's
there's certain things if someone. All right, let me ask you this: if someone came and just we gonna take Clement. And she's just like, oh, well, I'm just going to let a couple people hold me. But
she didn't do that, though.
Yeah, but
she went up that place.
She went up in that place, but still, she didn't. It was very vanilla the way she was handled. Because I'm like, Asian shorty would not have been able to say. My mom would have hit her straight up. Like she showed up, my mom would have knocked her out. Like it would have. Like my mom. Because I have a little brother. I've seen someone. We were at some event, and two parents approached my little brother, and my mom, she turned into Mama Bear fast.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And she was not playing games, and she was throwing, and she was kicking and punching, and I was like, even I was like, because my mom is short, but my mom came with the flames, and I was just like, and I was just like, when I was watching this, I was like, I feel like a white soccer mom wrote her role, because I'm like, I know enough black moms, like between me, Brian, Jermaine, Terry, Dion, TJ, there's a lot of T's that I knew growing up, Nick, most of our moms, besides like two, it was most single moms.
Right.
And they did not play she just didn't seem like anything was super urgent.
So do you feel like it's an issue of she's trying to figure it out, or you just didn't feel like she was like ready to be a mother in the show?
I don't know. It seems like it just seems
I'm not
like
agreeing with you.
it seems like more like it was a writing issue. Like they didn't know whether they wanted her to be a mom, or maybe the actress didn't know how to play a mom. I don't know, because it just seemed like this isn't mom stuff. I feel like you're not giving me the urgency, because like another black moms that I know, when he said, well, you just gonna have to stay because ain't nobody here. I don't give a damn who here. This is my son's birthday. You're on your own. Bye. Fire whoever you want to fire. Like,
yeah, I like. Okay.
But at the same time, it's a black mom from the South. It's different.
And also, it's like you look at
my mom.
Black moms. I remember when I was. We gotta wrap it up.
Hashtag black moms.
But I remember when my mom. I remember being. How old was I? I was like 11 or 12, and there was this little hill across the street that was like across from my house. It was like we lived in a cul-de-sac. That was the hill was across the street, so it was whenever it snowed, people would go down the hill.
Oh, it sled and stuff.
So I remember there was a kid that was picking on me. I got picked on from like second grade all the way to like basically beginning of college. Kid threw an ice ball at me. An ice ball wrapped in snow, and the thing hit me square in the face, and like so much so that it flattened my nose, and there was just blood on. There was. Like,
your mama got killed.
Wait! I'm not done. I ain't done yet. So there was blood on the ground, and literally people had to pick me up and carry me to the house. So like they carried me up the hill.
I had to kill that kid.
Wait! I ain't done. And then so my mom, literally, I just remember being knocked out. You ever see like a boxer from like when you look at that Creed? Like I just remember being like spaced out. What happened? I remember seeing my mom out the corner of my eye. It was on the couch, and my couch at the time in my old house faced the door. So this is the couch right here, and it was facing the door. And I just remember my mom being like, I'm going to kill this effing kid. And my dad was literally holding her back.
Yeah.
And he lost his grip. She went down the street, kicked in the door.
Who?
Kicked in the door.
I can't blame her.
And literally was like, I'm going to call it. I was like, if you do not get your kid on a leash, I'm going to murder him. And there is no God that can save me from killing your kid. Something like that.
Man,
from what my dad told me. I was like,
I can't blame her.
And I was like looking. I was like, so I get that issue of it.
Yeah.
But also, when you're talking about you're on your own, you don't have a job, you barely have a job, and you're dealing with a superpower, and you're dealing with this whole other mystery of your husband dying.
Yeah. That's why I let some stuff. I think she's probably the worst written in the show. Dion was cool, didn't have a problem with him. I think they could have had like one more episode because I feel like they sped up the whole thing with her name is Nicole, right? Nicole and the friend. I think they sped that up. They were like, oh, they go play pool. And it was like I was like, I feel like I think one more episode could have let them stretch out like a couple of things. The pool thing, also the thing with her getting a job at the doctor's office. There's no way, and I know people gonna be like, he has powers. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no job. I don't know who paying bills up in this house, but you ain't got no job. And she like, yo, I gotta hook up. And even she said, how are you not in the car right now?
My God.
Like, because there was no urgency. Like, oh snap, let me go get this job. She was just like, oh, well, can they wait? And then, but I also think that interview thing was set up just to show him having powers. And then I was like, I thought they could have scrapped that for something else. Because they could have showed him having powers in public in another way. But overall, I dig the show. I want to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
But Nicole she gotta like talk to some black moms or like interview some black moms, like something. Because I was like, she's not bringing that black mom flavor.
When you talk about something new, like, like the show is like it's like having the Martha Kent without the Clark Kent, and trying to figure out how to raise a son. But you have superpowers, but then you have black. So you're a black kid, superpowers in Atlanta. Like that's a very interesting.
Oh yeah, and the sister and her girlfriend, I'm like, you don't get out my face. I'm gonna delete these records. Shut up. Don't ask me no questions.
But I mean, like, Kent is a doctor. Do it. But like that's what I'm saying. Netflix is readying content. Disney's gonna make their chess move. Yeah. They're gonna hold back and figure out what they're gonna do.
And they got other stuff that'll be moving on, like Castlevania, which I love.
Castlevania's moving on.
Yeah, season 1 and 2, which are essentially one season.
Right.
Because season 1 and 2 are basically one story, but that I love Castlevania.
Castlevania's dope. I mean, they have a lot of stuff, so I think it just remains to be seen. So I think. Is it time to wrap up, or is it time to keep on going?
Let's do one more.
All right, what do you got?
I know you said you saw Joker, right?
Okay, yeah.
So is it? I think it's overhyped. Is it overhyped? Did you enjoy it? Like, is it something that like you have to go to the movie to see, or you can rent on this?
Honestly, I might be a little biased because I love the theatrical experience. Okay. But I would see Joker with the crowd, and I say that because it adds something to the element of the movie. Seeing with the crowd, because there's a lot of, oh my God, did he really just do that? Okay. But I generally like the movie, and I like it for two reasons, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
He kills it.
There's another layer. I won't say it's like as revolutionary as what Heath did with the Joker, but when you talk about Joaquin Phoenix doing a comic book character, it's like, wow, he really does well. And like he does well, like there's a lot of over the top humors with it, but there's a lot of mental issues on top of it. And then sinister. There's like a sinister element. So like he's operating on three levels of Joker. Whereas you have the human aspect, the mental health aspect, and you have the sinister aspect.
Yeah, because I guess in this movie we're seeing him beginning to be the Joker that we know.
Arthur Fleck to the Joker. Whereas Dark Knight, we're seeing just
regular Joker. Yeah.
So
regular Joker.
Regular Joker, you know. But like and that's
Joker light, so regular like, Joker, Joker extra.
But so Joaquin kills it, and then Todd Phillips making that kind of movie. Okay. I know Todd Phillips tends to be, I don't want to say controversial, but he is someone that you like or you dislike from at least like a film Twitter, film interest standpoint. Okay. If you think that's all he can do is The Hangover, you should see Joker because Joker,
because it shows like a different
range.
Cool.
And like honestly, I was like, wow, he did a really, really, really good job. Of course, the nuts and bolts of what Joker is built off something like Taxi Driver King comedy. Yeah. But it does something interesting to it. And I would even go as far as saying I want to see more DC Black Label films like in that style. And I think if there was a character to do a movie like that, it's Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze is because you got that what was it, like a 2-episode arc on the animated series that was like pretty touching.
Like I was when I got DC Universe, that was the first thing I watched.
Yeah, there's two characters besides Joker that you could probably do with that with, where it could be compelling. Clayface and Mr. Freeze.
I think Mr. Freeze is gonna be. I think Clayface, you could do it, but he's not as accessible as Mr. Freeze is.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. Because Mr. Freeze is a love story.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, if you did Mr. Freeze, I would love.
It's a love story and a lost love story.
Right. Yeah. I would love to see like a Tales to Astonish kind of way, where you had a young Mr. Freeze, caring for his wife, trying to prepare his wife, and then you see the old after effects of it. So, and I even thought of who to get for that, and like the casting of that. What I would do for the young Mr. Freeze, I would do Patrick Adams from Suits.
Okay.
As the young Mr. Freeze, because like the dude is like he's got.
And don't sleep on Suits, man. Suits and don't sleep on Pearson. Pearson was cool.
Pearson's dope. So I would get
the cousin gets on my nerves, but you know.
Yeah, I get you.
I was like, so you put your kids on the street, but I was like, okay,
yeah.
All right. And your mama let you put her grandbabies in the street. Okay, all right. These must be different black people that I know, but all right, okay.
But and then as far as like the older Mr. Freeze, I would really get someone that is kind of like Bryan Cranston to show that like you could work with prosthetics, kind of like how they did with JGL and Bruce Willis. Looper. So if you did that and you aged that too, that would
Mr. Freeze is a truly sad story when you watch it, and that's another thing. Batman the animated series is just classic.
And I mean, you could do that. I think if there was anybody else, you could even, if you really, really, really wanted to stretch it, you could do it with an idea.
Yeah, but you're getting into like the goofiness with that one. But yeah, you could
because you
can switch it on. You can switch it on some climate change stuff now.
Exactly.
You can switch.
And that's what I was saying. With the climate change, you can have it all.
You could do the EPA climate change, kind of like climate activist thing. And so you
could really do it, but you would have to really bring it back. But and that's where I think DC has an advantage on Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think they proved that those Jokers successful.
Well, Marvel has dope villains, but Kevin Feige has made it pretty clear that this is about the heroes.
Right.
So we're not going to see Victor Von Doom having to deal with the fact that even though he got the the glove and he's got God level power, and he went back to be Reed Richards, he still just can't be him. Right. You're never going to be him because you are as evil as you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And dealing with that, and dealing with why you just aren't good enough because you aren't good enough.
Right.
You know, we'll never get those. I don't think we got close with Killmonger and Thanos.
Yeah.
But then they also kind of got rid of Killmonger pretty quick, even though he might be back. We'll see. Because I know they said he's supposed to be in the next film. So I'm like...
That's not official yet.
Oh, it's not official? Okay. Excuse me. Sorry.
Not official yet.
Sorry.
We don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that because I know anything. I'm saying it because it hasn't been in the press.
See, cool.
So
gotta make sure. So you can't believe everything you read.
Can't believe that's what the rumor is, but we will see.
Yeah.
Because I could also see Coogler going in a completely different direction, not bringing him back.
Yeah, because I mean, we could see Namor, and Namor, I just finished reviewing earlier today House and Powers of X, and we didn't even touch on Namor, but Namor, boy, they were like, I'm cool, I'm good. Y'all do y'all thing. I'm fine.
If it wasn't for Snake Eyes, I would have been like, Feige, snap up Henry Golding now. But Henry Golding is now going to be Snake Eyes. So,
yeah.
You know, Henry Golding, like Daniel Day Kim.
Ooh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, Namor is a
Namor. I think Namor is one of the more harder characters to pull off. If they were going to do
you need to be rich. Like you have to have a rich kind of attitude, a very arrogant attitude, almost master race type of attitude.
Yeah.
Also, very kind of like, you know, environmental kind of thing, because of course you don't like the land dwellers and all that. So there's a lot mixed in with it, but very like I'm a supreme being kind of thing.
And I think here's the thing, I think Namor from what an educated guess, I think Namor is a lock for Black Panther 2, or we're having some sort of movie soon. And I say that because they waited. They got Moon Knight. Moon Knight has been awful. As a movie or a TV show, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Hawkeye solo film, Falcon Winter Soldier, new Captain America's black now. They've been listening. So the fact of the matter is, Namor's coming. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, and how.
So,
and I'll say this: if you've read House of X, Powers of X, don't be surprised if Marvel doesn't sprinkle that in however they bring the X-Men back. Because House and Powers have been extremely popular. Because it's well written. You know,
it's Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah, Jonathan Hickman. So it's been very, you know, it's...
We'll see. We will see. And I think the genius of bringing Kevin Feige in as making him a chief creative officer, he now oversees all of it. So he can bring in any plot, any comic book storyline, any characters. If they own them, he is the real world version of the Beyonder for all intents and purposes.
Wow, yeah.
So he's got a chessboard. And the chessboard is only rolling out, is only revealing itself little by little by little. So we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, guys, there you go. That's it. So, to my right, social media, business, marketing master.
Done.
This is an awesome, cool dude. Clement Bryant, what's up?
What's up? Twitter, Instagram, Clement Bryant.
NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Thanks for checking us out. And until next time, next month, sometime, we're going to do this. From us to you, we're just saying, peace.